Apple just dropped 6 products on us. We're looking at a new budget iPhone, a surprisingly powerful iPad Air, new M5 MacBooks, and 2 very different Pro displays. It's a huge refresh, but while some of these are absolute home runs, one of them is, frankly, a serious head-scratcher that feels like it's from a different decade. We'll look at the good, the bad, and the bizarre for each one to get to the big question: is any of this actually worth your money? Trust me, you'll want to stick around to the end to see which device ends up being the biggest disappointment of the year. Let's get into it. First up, the product kicking off Apple's new lineup, the iPhone 17e. For years, the E or SE models have been about compromise. You get a fast chip in an older body. This year, the formula is pretty much the same, but with a few key tweaks. It still rocks a powerful modern chip, but the big news is about the practical stuff. Apple finally doubled the base storage, starting at a much more reasonable 256GB. And at long last, MagSafe has arrived on the budget iPhone. That means you get faster 15-watt wireless charging and access to that huge ecosystem of magnetic accessories that SE users have been missing out on. The camera gets a solid boost from the iPhone 60e, but here's the real question: with these quality of life upgrades, is the iPhone 17 now the perfect entry point, or is it still held back by a design that feels increasingly outdated in 2026? While the build quality is solid, we're still looking at a 60Hz display and a design that's several years old. It just feels tired the second you pick it up. On the other hand though, MagSafe is a genuinely great addition, and doubling the storage is a huge practical win. You're also getting a chip that's more than fast enough for everyday tasks and will keep the phone feeling snappy for years. For a lower price, you're getting a phone with a great engine and key modern features that will easily last you 4 or 5 years. Our final verdict here is that the iPhone 17e is for someone upgrading from an iPhone 11 or older who just wants a phone that works, has modern conveniences like MagSafe, and will be supported for years. If you can look past the old screen and design, it's really one of the smartest buys in Apple's entire lineup. Next up, we have the surprise of the bunch, the new M4 iPad Air. For a while now, the iPad Air has been stuck in a weird spot between the basic iPad and the powerhouse iPad Pro. With this update, Apple is making a statement. By putting the M4 chip inside, they're essentially giving the Air Pro level performance from just a year ago. This isn't just about faster web browsing, it's a huge deal for the exploding world of on-device AI tasks that the M4 was built for. It brings a new level of power for content creation, gaming, and multitasking that was previously reserved for the most expensive iPads. It's a massive leap in capability. So the big question is, now that the Air has a pro-level brain, is it the new default iPad for everyone, or is it a half step that still makes you wish you just saved up for the Pro? The design is the same sleek, lightweight aluminum body that we know, which is still great, but the M4 chip is the real story, and it's a monster for a tablet, especially this thin and light. It's going to handle basically anything you can throw at it, from editing 4K video to running complex creative apps. The chip is the new main feature, and it's a big one. You're getting a massive amount of performance for the money. For students, artists, and really anyone who wants a do-it-all tablet without the Pro price, the value here is incredible. Our final vote for the M4 iPad Air is that this is the new sweet spot. It's powerful enough for pros, but priced for everyone else. This might just be the best pound-for-pound product Apple has released this week. The Air has been the default laptop for just about everyone, and this year's update is all about practical, meaningful improvements. The headline feature from the rumor mill, support for 2 external displays with the lid closed, unfortunately didn't happen. But what we did get is still really good. The new M5 chip inside features new super cores for a nice bump in speed and efficiency, especially with AI tasks. Plus, Apple has finally doubled the base storage, so the entry-level model now starts with a rooney 512GB of faster SSD storage. They've also added Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6, future-proofing its connectivity for the next couple of years. This brings us to our central question. Without the game-changing multi-display support, are these upgrades enough to keep the MacBook Air the undisputed king of laptops for the masses? The design is proven, incredibly portable and functional. it's still one of the best out there. The M5 chip brings a noticeable jump in CPU and graphics power, but the real story is the efficiency and the enhanced neural engine, built to handle modern AI features without breaking a sweat. Doubling the base storage is a fantastic long overdue change, and adding Wi-Fi 7 is great for future-proofing, even if these aren't revolutionary updates. With the starting price staying the same, you're getting twice the storage for your money, which is a huge increase in day-to-day value. Our final verdict for the M5 MacBook Air is that it's the new and improved default. It didn't get the one feature we were all desperate for, but for students, writers, and most professionals, this is still all the computer you'll likely ever need. Okay, onto the desk setup, because Apple announced two new 27-inch monitors and they could not be more different. First, we have to talk about the standard studio display. This is a refresh, and I'm using that term loosely. It keeps the exact same 27-inch 5K Retina panel from 2022, which means it's still incredibly sharp, but yes, it is still locked to a 60Hz refresh rate. The updates? Apple says that it improved a 6-speaker sound system and a better mic array. The port on the back is now Thunderbolt 5, but the price is still $15.99, and that's before you pay the ridiculous $400 for a height-adjustable stand. This brings up a pretty blunt question. It's 2026. Are slightly better speakers enough to justify a $1,600 price tag for a monitor with a 60Hz panel? The aluminum body is premium, but the stand situation remains as anti-consumer as it gets. While the 5K resolution is amazingly sharp and color accurate, a 60Hz refresh rate is a glaring weakness that makes everything feel sluggish compared to basically any other modern screen. In a world full of high refresh rate 4K displays for a fraction of the price, charging $1,600 for this feels completely out of touch. The final verdict for the standard studio display is that it is a huge disappointment. This is the head scratcher. It's a bafflingly minor update that feels obsolete on day one. It's only for people so deep in the Apple ecosystem that they'll pay a huge premium for a 5K Mac-specific panel and genuinely don't care about refresh rate. For everyone else, this is a hard pass. But then we have its sibling, the all-new Studio Display XDR, and this is a whole different story. This is the 27-inch monitor that we've all been asking for, replacing the old Pro Display XDR. It's a 5K display that uses a cutting-edge mini LED backlight with over 2,300 local dimming zones, giving it an insane 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. It hits 1,000 nits of sustained brightness and a peak of 2,000 nits in HDR. And most importantly, it has a 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. This monitor seems to fix every complaint we've had about Apple's displays for years. But at $3,299, who is this actually for? Its pro-grade aluminum enclosure looks incredible. A 5K mini LED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate is a dream spec sheet, representing the top tier of desktop display tech. Apple also added robust Thunderbolt 5 with 140 watts of power for your laptop and critical presets for professional workflows. Look, it's a lot of money, but for the target audience, HDR video editors, colorists, 3D artists, this thing actually presents amazing value compared to pro reference monitors that cost tens of thousands of dollars. The final verdict for the Studio Display XDR is that this is the monitor pros have been begging Apple to make for years. It's a specialized tool for a specialized audience, and for them, it's a game changer. Finally, we get to the top of the food chain, the new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros with the M5 Pro and M5 Max chips. On the outside, they look identical to the last generation, which is a good thing. This design is basically peak laptop. All the changes are on the inside, and they are significant. The M5 Pro and M5 Max feature new super cores for a big jump in multi-threaded performance over the M4 generation. But the wildest claim is in AI, with Apple promising huge gains in performance for machine learning tasks. The SSDs are now twice as fast, and Apple has mercifully increased the base storage to 1TB on the Pro models and 2TB on the Max models. The performance claims here are dramatic, so the question isn't are these fast, because of course they are. The real question is whether this much power is even usable for anyone but the top 1% of creative pros. First, the M5 Pro model. The design is perfect. The Liquid Retina XDR display, the amazing keyboard, the best-in-class speakers and ports. It's the best pro laptop chassis ever made. The M5 Pro's new architecture is a massive leap forward for anyone doing complex video edits, coding, or 3D work, making it a true mobile workstation. While expensive, the performance you get is unmatched. For a working professional, the time you save on renders and exports makes it worth every single cent. Now for the M5 Max model. This design is just as perfect, but the performance is off the charts. This isn't just a laptop, it's a portable supercomputer designed for workflows that really would have needed a dedicated server room just a few years ago. But with a starting price north of $3,500, it's astronomical. The value is only there if your specific workflow, high-end 3D rendering, scientific computing, AI modeling, can actually use all that GPU power. Our final verdict for the M5 Max MacBook Pro is that it's an engineering masterpiece, but it's an incredibly niche tool. For 99% of even pro users, it's glorious overkill, but for that 1% who need it, it is a godsend. So after a wild week, where does that leave us? Here's the final breakdown. On one end, you have the absolute home runs for professionals. The M5 Pro MacBook Pro hits the perfect balance of insane power and real-world value. The Studio Display XDR is the dream monitor pros have been begging for. In the middle are the smart buys for the rest of us. The M4 iPad Air and M5 MacBook Air bring huge performance and practical upgrades to the most popular products in their class. They are fantastic updates. Next is the iPhone 17e, which offers amazing usability for its price, held back only by that dated design. And in last place is the one clear disappointment of the lineup, the standard Studio Display. It's an overpriced and under-spec'd monitor that feels 2 years out of date the day it was released. But that's just my take. I really want to know what you guys think. Which of these 6 new products are you most excited about? And which one is a hard pass for you? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. If this breakdown is helpful and you want to stay ahead of all things tech, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
For more trending brand news, subscribe to our channel and visit designrush.com.